We're back. Let me know how my sound. I got stuff going on in the background. I told you, flooded apartment. You know how that go. Let me know how it sounds. Is it too loud? You can't hear me. Is it staticky? I got my volume up. Just let me know. Let me know if we're good on the sound. D, why you shaking your head? D, don't shake your head. This is. Do you consider this struggle streaming? D, all right. Sound good. Cool. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Everybody say we good. We don't pay attention to the D. Not gonna pay attention to you, D. Not gonna pay attention to you. It's enough hate out here, D. Not paying attention to you. Is that what we're gonna do today? Let me get my displays situated here. Make sure they're in order. All right, displays. Check one, check two. The Queen Lee, what's going on? How you doing? Code and Evelyn. What's up, Don? Financially basic. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Smart money. Smart. I don't you know what? I don't know why I want to call you smart money chick. Smart money TV. Like, I don't know why we want to call you smart money TV, but it's smart money chick TV. I as soon as I see it, I'm like, oh, smart money TV is here. That's what I see in my head. In my head, that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. All right, let me get my arrangement on my. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's cool. How they're arranged. That's okay. That's okay. We'll just go up. We can do that. All right. So I don't know if y'all been keeping up with all the drama this week. It's been nothing but drama, scams, people mad, people scam artists, uh, poor financial planning. The list goes on. So I know Code and Evelyn, you said you want to do a breakdown with um Tia and Mary J. Blige, but a new development has happened. Uh they uh they stated that the actual prenup was thrown out. So therefore it didn't even, they broke up on good terms. I know I don't want to see her no more. I want Miss Regina. I want Brenda Sawyer. I don't know who you are, Joshua Robinson. I have no idea what that comment is, and why you chose to type in all caps. Is that a song? Is that from that don't look like the Tupac song Brenda Had a Baby. That don't that don't that don't look like that, Joshua. Uh oh no. Maybe you're on the wrong stream. I don't know. But over here on this live in this location, uh, we don't deal with foolishness. Right? It may be foolish finance Fridays, but don't be fooled. We don't deal with foolishness. Okay? Okay. All right. All right. Let me get my stuff caught up here so I can see what y'all got going on in the chat. I don't have my tablet set up. I normally I got all this stuff set up. I'm off right now. How's everybody week? How's everybody week? Let me get my sound up here. All right, cool. We back. We in the game now. We in the game. All right. So I won't talk about Tia because they ended on good terms and we're gonna keep it pushing, right? Yep, the prenup was thrown out. I don't know why it was thrown out. Again, I go back to get no estate, no date, put it in a trust. Uh I don't understand. You know, I've never heard anybody throwing out if something was in a trust. I've never heard that getting thrown out. So, you know, put it in a trust, right? So, um let's get started on uh yours truly. When it comes to this, I want to actually start a little backwards. This is not a Foolish Finance Friday topic, but it is something I wanted to bring up. Um, and let me make sure I got my topic that I want to discuss here. Um, and you all will find this very interesting. All right, so now let me share my screen because I want to give a shout out to this person. All right, all right. So we're gonna start here. The 30 rising star VCs in Los Angeles, according to other VCs. If anybody knows, over here at Women in Linux, we have made investments. We have done some VC investments as well too, and we also have had people come on to the show to talk about VC funding and how to become a VC, how to become an angel investor, how to invest in a fund, how do you create a real estate fund, how do you create a fund, what are the different types of funds or syndications. We've had that conversation. We're going to continue to have those conversations, but I wanted to give a shout out to none other than yours truly, who has been on the show. Let me pull her up. Ba-da-da-da-da. Hold on one second. It is actually Kiana that I want to give a shout out to for Naya Capital. Let me find her on here. Do. Let me do a control F. Here we go, right here. Kiana. And let me make this a little smaller because it looks super big on my screen. So I know it's got to be big on your screen. All right, here we go. Kiana Patterson, right? For Naya Capital. She made Business Insider this week. Some notable investments is Elevest, Salsify, Syndio, what kind of startup she invest in. And that looks kind of big on your screen, but I'll push that out a little bit more. Let me go back and find it. Here we go. All right. It says Naya brings together an array of people from diverse professional backgrounds and uses a venture studio model to build high impact community based businesses and uplift underrepresented founders. Patterson's approach to investing aims to create a world any of us would be happy to be born into at random, regardless of race, class, or gender. I want to say this. She has brought me to different cap tables to make investments. We have introduced other black and brown people to be able to invest into buying data centers, buying cloud companies, also just investing into gaming, AI, and so forth. So I want to give this aspect of investing or finances as an opportunity for others to be able to come to the table and invest as well too. There are founders out there that are not looking at you at the 200, 500, $1 million level. There are some that have funds that are friends of friends. And so I just want to make sure I give that shout out to her. She's a dear friend of the group. You all have seen her before, and I want to make sure I get that. Another, I want to finish reading this and then we'll move on. All right, Patterson doesn't have the typical VC resume full of stints of investment banks or private equity firms. Instead, she started her career as a sixth grade English and history teacher in Los Angeles. So, not a traditional way to get into it, right? Um, Somebody go ahead and block Joshua Robinson. Go ahead and permanently ban Joshua Robinson from the stream and from the channel. I'm not sure who Joshua Robinson is. And then I'm doing this with love. I'm trying to save you from typing in all caps and causing your fingers to cramp. You got it. All right. Patterson brings the lessons she learned working with students in in the classroom to her work with budding entrepreneurs. My process of being an educator wasn't sort of coming in saying I know all said Patterson. In fact, I wanted to learn alongside my students as where there was always something new to discover. And the same thing goes for assisting, supporting, and advising founders, she said. She's striving to build a community of impact oriented founders and investors through both Naya and her work with Cap Table Coalition, which raises special purpose vehicles, SPACs, that help underrepresented investors get a seat at the table in big funding rounds, right? And then there's also here, right? And don't think for not one second that people who are in Los Angeles as VCs, investors and stuff, don't think they don't all know each other. They do. They all know each other, right? They all know each other. All right. So I want to give that as a shout out. All right. So let's get into my dialogue here a bit. Did everybody take care of Joshua Robinson? Oh no, Joshua, I hope you feel better. I hope whatever um I won't say drug of choice or whatever thought of choice there. I hope you feel better. All right, so let's get into it. Gen X, the report is out. The report is out that one, you don't have enough money for retirement, and two, you don't have you're not looking to retire, and three, the actual articles I'm gonna have to pull them up here. The actual articles I found, they were saying that Gen X was done a disservice for retirement. So let me see if I can find these articles, and let's talk about Gen X for a minute. I am a part of Gen X. I am a part of Gen X, and they're saying Gen X sucks for retirement and may not make it. Rockstar lifestyle may not make it, right? Let me. I thought I put them in here, but I guess I didn't. Let me see. I can find the article real quick because it's been the talk of the town um forever. And there we go, right here. We talked about 80% of the Gen Z won't fully retire, but there's another article that came out. Let me just do my sort. I thought I had it. That's it. Let me find it. How many of you are Gen Xers and will have enough money for retirement? Gen Xers support them to themselves and two more generations, possibly. And I can see how you can say that. I can see how you say that. Oh, here it is, right here. This is the article right here. Let's read this article right here. Let's get into this article right here. All right, so let me get my screen so I can see what's going on. I hate when my tablet syncs up with everything else, and so I can't move. Here we go. All right. It says the title is America Failed Generation X, the Latchkey Kids. The ones that weren't worried about what it is y'all got going on, your mama said, if I'm not here, don't open the door. Don't tell nobody you in here by yourself. Don't go outside. Um, don't be in here messing up too many dishes. Whatever you mess up, clean up. Um, this was the introduction, really, truly, really, of the microwave. Because before you would boil a hot dog or let go my ego or um you would get the biscuits in the patch, the biscuits with the eggs and the sausage, and you throw it in a microwave. That was your breakfast. This was, but this was when McDonald's breakfast was actually okay. Right now, it ain't doing what it's supposed to do. It ain't hitting on like it was before. Um, this is also the era of PBS and educational systems, right? Um, you also had Ted Turner. If you lived in Atlanta, it was Channel 17. Um, it was also the era of if you are familiar with the box, where you would record your videos, where people would call into the radio station and request their songs, and you would stick paper inside of the tape, and then you would put it inside your boom box. It was the introduction of the boom box, and you stick your tape in there, and you be sitting you be sitting by the actual radio waiting for your song to come on so you can record, and you hope that the radio DJ didn't talk over the intro, because you was making your own mixtapes. That's what we did. That's what we did. I'd rather be a bill on Capitol Hill. That's what we were doing at that time, right? But now, um, Gen X has gotten older. Boomers are retiring, aging out, and now we're in this crux of what what we're at this fine line where Gen X is like retirement or keep working. Um, do you go get more skill sets? Um, and if you got kids, the kids are getting older, depending on when you had them. Do they need your help? Do they have scholarships and so forth? So we're at that. Bone Thugs and Harmony. We're at the crossroads, right? We'll meet me at the crossroads, right? Right. So now this article states that America failed Gen X. Um, and it says at the same time, Gen X fell for the American dream, hook, line, and sinker. That's what it says. It says America failed Gen X, and Gen X fell for the American dream. Right? Let's get into it. It says in a minute you will see some data on retirement crisis specifically or specific to Gen X is pretty crazy. Here's how I see the situation. Gen X expected to replicate their baby boomer older parents' success. And not necessarily, I want to say that. For me, and this is my situation, I never saw staying at a company 20, 30, 40 years and then having a pension and then retire. That really wasn't even an option for us as we started graduating from high school and college. It really wasn't even an option for us. The option was you go to school, you get your degree, uh, hopefully you get married, you ride off into the sunset, y'all do y'all thing. It was I don't know, and maybe some of you out there in Gen X land and YouTube land know. I don't know too many stay at home moms, right? Like stay at home wives. I don't know those, right? I don't know those. What's going on, Granville? Right? I don't know those. I don't know those from for Gen X. And maybe there are some out there that was able to accomplish that, but every Gen X man and woman I know was working at Pizza Hut, Wendy's, Walmart, a bank, the state, the city, um, the post office, uh, um, driving a bus. Some went into banking. Some went into trucking. Uh, they were workers, right? That's what I know. Maybe your experience is different, but that was my experience, right? So expecting to replicate what your parents did or the boomers did, I was never thinking about that. I knew I didn't want to work um social work jobs or with the city or with the state. I went down and filled out those applications, and they said, yeah, you can make 30,000. I was like, well, what am I gonna do with that? Like, like that was my thought process, and the different steps and the different grades. I was like, this don't sound like this is gonna be a good solution to me. That this don't sound good. This ain't it, right? So I got off that train real quick, right? So it says Gen X is expected to replicate their baby boomer older parents' success. However, success happened under temporary, if not artificial, conditions. Gen X went all in on the false promise of an American dream, only to be hung out to dry by a series of economic stressors, from the housing crisis to a recession to a pandemic to inflation. Millennial generation and Gen Z saw the writing on the wall and acted accordingly. They threw away the old definition of success. They dropped the sense of entitlement and refined not only success, but what it means to be financially free. They're setting more realistic and healthy goals. Let's talk about that. How are Gen Z and millennials, in particular Gen Z, setting those goals? Well, they got to stay with somebody. They got to be in somebody mama and daddy house, right? And if you ask me, I think every generation gets to a million in net worth at least 10 years quicker. I think the Gen Zs and the millennials are probably right there with the baby boomers, age wise, like if they were in the 25s or the 30s. I think they may even be ahead as financially, but the older to match up with the baby boomers who are this 65 and older, net worth, I don't think they're there. But I think if you compare the baby boomer from at 20 and a Gen Z or millennial, whenever the millennial was at 20, I think financially you probably see the same thing. That's just my thought process. Drop in the comments if you think differently, but that's just my thought process. It says at least large swaths of people under 40 and definitely under 30 don't put as much value on home ownership and outdated concepts. Now, here's a problem with that. The way this is reading is they don't put value on home ownership, but BlackRock does, Zillow does, Ben Mala does. Um, and I don't want to say home ownership from Ben Mala because he invests in commercial real estate, but he still has one of the, if not the most expensive house in Tampa. So he has a idea about home ownership and the value of it. Um, and so does Zillow and BlackRock and all these REITs that are out there. There are still people creating real estate fund. There's still people out there doing their thing in the real estate realm, whether it's subdivisions or commercial real estate or hotels or whatever. They're still doing it. So I don't know if necessarily that is outdated, right? And it says they live life differently, not only because they have to, but because, as it turns out, valuing something other than the runaway American dream makes for a better, for more fulfilling life. It also says, as a 47-year-old who never completely bought into the American dream, I see it from a different perspective. Yes, you can hold competing thoughts and opinions. Gen X bought the bill of goods America sold them hook, line, and sinker. Unlike many Gen Zers and millennials, they didn't see the writing on the wall. So they're in a mess of trouble as a result of their blind faith and miscalculations. However, I see this perceived trouble they're in differently. I don't look at the following data and think, damn, it sucks that a large number of Gen Xers don't have enough money saved up for retirement, or that they're in debt, or that they don't own a home, or if they do, they're in a predicament of being house rich and cash poor. I come and I respond from different perspectives. First, here are the numbers. Here's what they say, Gen Xers. Here's what they say. Let's read the numbers here. Get on the screen and read the numbers here. The numbers say, go back up on my screen. On my tablet. Come on, tablet. There we go. It says 22%, and let me make that a little bigger. There we go. 22% of Gen X have nothing saved. Nothing. Nothing saved. Why? Why don't you have anything saved? Not $1? Not two? Okay, three. You don't have nothing saved? Nothing? Right? It says 20% have never saved for retirement. Never. You never put nothing up for retirement. Why? What's holding you back? I could tell you what's holding you back. You want me to tell you? Do you want me to tell you what's holding them back? Okay. Y'all want me to tell you what's holding them back? No. It's not two recessions and a divorce. I could tell you what's holding them back. Because I see it on the internet every day. Over here on Beyonce's and Obama's internet, let me tell you what I see. I see a bunch of people sitting online crying about 45,000 is enough. $50,000 is enough. And you know who I normally see that from? Like maybe 35 and older. The other one that I see online is not just the flossing, Adrian. It ain't just the flossing. It is also the fact of this credit card debt. That's one. What preteen Jesus say, D? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this 40K. I don't know why. I've been preaching about it for a year now, almost two. What is this obsession with being that 40K or 50K is enough? Why? Why is that an obsession? You know what? You can't even you barely can buy tissue at 40 and 50K. Nah, I wasn't gonna say nothing about the podcasters. Nah. You know what? This is just what I see. What I see is a lot of whining and complaining about like your 40K and your 50K should be enough. Um, you can make it out for that. I see a lot of people not even, and this is what I also see. People don't understand finances. They don't understand money. They don't understand money. Like if you're going to have a max in your 401k, that's $2,000 a month. There's no way in hell that you could be sitting up here at 40K and then investing $2,000 a month. It just don't you don't even make mathematical sense. The math ain't mathing. It don't work that way. So what you have to do is you got to increase your income. You got to increase your income. All right. It says 50% of Gen X has less than 100,000 saved up for retirement. 55% believe they'll require 500,000 or more for a comfortable retirement. Listen, the numbers is out. It says that the average single person is going to need at least 2.5 million or 2.4 million for retirement. Right? It says on average in retirement, you're spending anywhere from 200,000 to 250,000 for medical expenses. You take that. Let's go on and chalk out off that 500. Let's go on and pull out 200,000. I'll be nice. Let's hope you got. Let's hope you're a veteran. You use your VA loan. You use your VA. You go to the VA, and you hope the VA don't lose your paperwork. You hope the VA recognizes you as a veteran, right? You hope the VA, you hope the VA got your paperwork and don't have you sitting on hold forever, right? But what I find is most people don't even understand money. Let me tell you this. I was online this week. I was responding to this chick online. She said she had been with a guy for 6 years. Um, and whenever it came time to talk about finances, she's like he got scared and he just shuts down. But they've been together for 6 years, and she was like she's thriving in her in doing what she needs to do, but he won't find steady work. But they've been together for 6 years. I'm like, I don't understand. His business ain't got off the ground. You ain't doing. Y'all don't have. He don't have steady work. He don't have steady income. He just got enough to pay his cell phone bill, his internet bill, and get some gas in his car. But he got a business though. But it ain't went nowhere. Make it make sense. What you doing? And she was like, well, I don't want him to start, um, tapping into my nest egg. What, girl? And when I said, "Well, have you?" I said, I asked her, I said, "Well, have y'all tried to talk to like a financial advisor?" She said, he gets closed. He closes off and shuts down. Girl, he ain't the one. And if a woman does that to you, lady, or men, she ain't the one, and vice versa, right? If y'all can't talk about, you've been together for 6 years and you don't know his. She's like, I don't know how much debt he has. Girl, by 6 years, you don't know how much debt he got. A lot. A lot. He got a lot of that. He got a lot of debt. That's what he got. A lot. Let me help you. So when I hear that, when I hear these conversations go on, when I hear these conversations go on, I have to ask questions about. Then this is a question I have to ask you. Yeah, you on the other side of this screen. You on the other side. Yeah, you. You got any respect for yourself? Do you have any financial sense? Do you have any type of just common sense? Like, why would you be dragging yourself through this? Man, I told her no estate, no date. I told her to jump. I said, you're not going down with the Titanic. You're not going down with the Titanic. Right? But it's these conversations that we have that I'm seeing across the board, that people just really don't have financial conversations. I think from now on, I think people should start having day one the finance conversation. Forget if you like me or not. Now, look, liking me, liking me ain't gonna do nothing for these finances. Forget that. Like, are you financially sound? Have you seen a financial planner? Do you have a trust set up? Do you have some type of estate set up? No, you ain't got none of that. Okay, no, I'm good. I'm serious. Which I think that's just where we're at. Because people are like, well, it's not about the money. It's about companionship and love. Well, let's talk about companionship and love. Cue up what's her name? The Simone and Rashid. Let's cue up Simone and Rashid. Foolish Finance Friday. Let's cue up Simone and Rashid. Let's cue that up. Let's cue that up. I'm gonna bring that up right after this. Let's talk about it. You want to talk about it? All right. It also says 37% of Gen Xers think they'll be able to retire by the time they're 65. 11% say they'll never retire. 4% say they don't want to retire. Right? I'm with the 4%. I'm actually with all of the above, except the 55% and the 37%. That was 55% saying that 500,000 would be comfortable, and 37 said they think they'll be able to retire by the time they're 65. Think, or right? No love, fix it. Yeah. Simone was like, I'm out. We're gonna talk about Simone. We're gonna talk about Simone. We're gonna talk about how people who are 50 can actually build up their nest egg to retire. How putting away 20% of your income for the next 10 to 15 years. Look, you got to get in the game. Y'all be sitting on the sidelines, flipping through, eating bonbons, and watching Hallmark. You need to stop. Put the bonbons down and start watching Hallmark. We need you in the game. We need you in the game, right? It says, what do I mean? Something I recently wrote on a Medium article sums it up nicely. In case you missed it, I realize, acknowledge, and understand the bigger picture issues around inflation, inequality, the death of home ownership, and the overall high cost of housing in America. Realize and acknowledge and understand, but I refuse to get bogged down in these things, lashing out as if everything is unjust and unfair. I refuse to be the person who externalizes everything and poses as an activist when in reality they're a mere deer in a mere deer in the headlights of life. Put it another way, I have roughly 50 or so years left on this planet. We're not solving deeply rooted historical economic issues during this time. It ain't happening. Ain't nobody gonna come save you. Get your money up, get your skills up. I come here every week and tell you and show you how to make 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000. I my job posting didn't come through, but I need to post it again. Selby Jennings is looking for blockchain engineer at $1 million. Again, we can sit on the sidelines and talk about inflation, relationships, all of that. But the truth be told is you're gonna need some money. And y'all need to get in the game. I don't care if you're a Gen Z. I don't care if you're a Gen X. I don't care if you're a millennial. I don't give a damn where you at. Y'all need to get your skills up and you need to get this money. And it's just funny. I was talking about this today. And one of the guys that I work with, one of the things he said, he was like, the people who have the most unique advantage right now are the ones that have the skills where they can go anywhere. And I've been trying to tell y'all, get skills where you can go anywhere, where you can control the lanes in which you want to go down. If somebody present to you, hey, we want you to come to Cape Canaveral, uh, build out our Linux clusters. We'll pay you 175 an hour. You'll work it for a year, and you're like, okay, cool. And when I get done with that, I'm gonna take a break because I done built up my money and I got a little nest egg where I could take a break. You know what? I'm cool for right now. I'm gonna take off for a month, and I'm gonna put some fillers out there, and then I'll be back at it. Right? I just want to go to sleep. I just want to get something to eat. Right? I just want to go travel. I can do that. Right? But in order to do that, you're gonna have to invest in you. You're gonna have to invest in yourself. You're gonna have to build up those bumps and bruises, and afraid to take those exams, afraid to take a class. You're gonna have to get over that. You're gonna have to get over that. Everybody ain't a good podcaster. Some of you can't really talk really well. Some of you don't sound really good on online or on a headset. Some of you just don't. It's no big deal. Right? Some of you are just not interesting. You're not. And it's okay. It's all right. Know who you are, know your niche, know where you fit in at, right? All right, let me get down here to the solutions because he had some solutions. Let me go through here. Oh, I must have missed it. It might be in another one. But basically, and let me pull my handy dandy book out because I took some notes today because I wanted to kind of address this. I was reading through this book and I read this article earlier, but I was reading through this book. I've talked about this before. The Employee Millionaire. The Employee Millionaire. I talked about this book before, and I went through this book. As you can see, I got my notes here. I got my notes here. I need to do a special on this about this, but I'm not. I didn't get this book for the real estate portion of it. I got it through for the mindset of it. For the mindset. For the mindset. Right. And one of the big things in here that I highlighted and I pointed out, and I'm gonna just pull it up to the screen. Limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs. Right. Limiting beliefs. I'm give you an example of what's considered a limiting belief, and then the personal truth. This is how he broke it down, and then empowering belief. Let's talk about it, right? Because a lot of you have a lot of limiting beliefs, and you are surrounding yourself with people who have limiting beliefs. And on top of surrounding yourself with people with those limiting beliefs, you also go in with the mindset of everything has a limit. You have no belief in, outside of that. You know how many arguments I get into, and D get tired of hearing it. You know how many arguments I get into where people are like, "You don't make 200,000. You can't make 500,000. Ain't nobody out here making $1 million. That's not something you could do in tech. You can't do that." You know how many arguments I get into with that? And I'm like, I'm like, why are you arguing with me? Why don't you just ask? Just ask. So let me read this to you. It says, this is what is considered a limiting belief. A job provides security for now and at retirement. A job provides financial security for now and at retirement. That's a limiting belief. So now we're going to read what a personal truth is. I don't want to give up the feeling of security of earning a regular paycheck. I could be kicked out of my job at any time. Let's talk about getting kicked out your job at any time. How many people in the chat was laid off? How many people in the chat was laid off and you didn't have no emergency fund? How many of the people in the chat were laid off and you had no skills? How many of the people in the chat were laid off and you didn't even try to go get any more skills? How many of the people in the chat were laid off and you don't know what to do next? How many of you know somebody like that? What you gonna do? You can't sit on the sideline and play all day. You can't sit on the sideline and play all day, right? Empowering belief. So here's the empowering belief. Again, shifting the mindset. Let's shift the mindset. It says, I need to be in control of my future income. I can leverage my position as an employee to qualify for good debt to purchase income producing assets that would generate unearned income. Doesn't that sound like something I say all the time? I say that all the time. I'm going to read that again. I'm going to start with the limiting belief, and then I'm going to go back to the empowering belief. A job provides financial security for now and at retirement. But what do you do in between? How are you using that? How's that money making money for you? Right? How's that money making money for you? All right. Empowering belief. I need to be in control of my future income. So, how do you get control of your future income? Skill sets. Skill sets. Some of you may be good at marketing. Some of you may have the gift to gab. Some of you may be good at sales. Some of you may be good engineers. Some may be good at nurturing and fostering and coaching people. And that may be your thing, right? The next part of that, and the reason why I say that is because I need to be in control of my future income. Meaning, this is how I interpret it. I have a job, but my skill sets can provide me other avenues for future income that I can make. I can leverage my position as an employee to qualify for good debt. Now, the reason why I brought up that part is we had this conversation last week. A lot of people who are 1099 can't get loans because it's not their income is not steady. But them W2 people, that's why you can go W2 on one side of the house and 1099 on the other side of the house because that W2 looks good on paper. The banks understand that. That 1099, they be freezing up. They don't know what you're talking about. They freeze up. So it says I can leverage my position as an employee to qualify for good debt, to purchase income producing assets that will generate unearned income, right? That was important, right? And there was some other good things in here. And we'll have to like sit down and go through this because this is I really want to use this for something else, not just this here. Um, Talking about smart objectives. And here's the one thing I did want to talk about right here. You can't see it, but I'm gonna bring it into the camera. It is called the virtuous cycle of building wealth. And let me pull that up right there. Get that in there. Right. The virtuous cycle. Let me pull that there of building wealth. All right. It's the virtuous cycle of building wealth. All right. This virtuous cycle of building wealth is actually comes in three stages. It is the first stage is financial security. The second stage is the step to financial comfort, and the third stage is financial freedom. Right? I read it again. The first stage is financial security. The second stage is financial comfort, and then the third stage is financial freedom. Right? And I'm gonna do a deeper dive on these on this here. I probably do like drop the link or something in Slack and talk about this book a little bit more. I have a lot of highlighted information that I want to dive into on that one. Um, Let me show you the other one. I started reading it, but I haven't highlighted stuff just yet. Um, this one here, outlier investors. What's the successful investors do? I hadn't marked this up yet, but I will. All right. So all that to say, Gen X, you got some time. It ain't a lot though, because you got to consider your health. You got to consider your mind. You got to consider the people around you. You got to consider aging parents. You got kids, or what have you. You got some time, but you're going to have to make a serious decision. And that decision has to start today. You got to make that decision on like, okay, what am I going to do for the next 10 years or the next 15 years where I can maximize my potential in income and save, right? Cuz you want to be at 20 to 30% saving cuz you need to be aggressive. You need to be aggressive. Did y'all see? I think I sent it to D. A couple gets married. They get married. 10 minutes later, the husband dies. So she got married and she a widow at the same time. At the same damn time, right? So don't be out here being fooled and think everything is just gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. You may not be the Kendrick Lamar of the crew. You may not be. right? So let me pull this up. You see, we got this one. We did that. All right. So this is what they say here. This came out May 31st. I don't believe it though. You no longer need 30 a 30-year mortgage and a $1 million nest egg. Retirement is dead. So the way we live and manage our money has to change. Here's a quick, easy review. All right. So let's look at it. Let's see if we can find some good stuff and some flaws in this. All right. Got 31 comments. 15 about 1,400 people liked it. All right. Everyone once in a while, every once in a while, it makes sense to go back to the basics, especially as new people start reading my stuff and we move away from the central overarching theme of life that does not include traditional retirement. Is that look big enough on the screen? Hold on. All right. It says on their own, the idea to carry a mortgage payment or to save for purposes other than traditional retirement can be confusing, in part because we have always been taught and continue to be taught that it is better to own than to rent. And you need at least $1 million before you turn something like 65. So this comes back to everything that Dave Ramsey has said, everything all the financial planners have stated, everything that everybody else has stated. Just going against the grain, right? So we're gonna go against the grain. Let's talk about it, right? They said the reality is that for an increasing number of people, that life trajectory is dead. By the end of this article, you'll have a quick and easy summary of why it's dead and absolute should be dead, why I set up for a life trajectory focused on never retiring and living the semi-retired life, and one outlook on how to organize money and work around your life, not the other way around. Let me know if y'all are interested. You want to be semi-retired now and just kind of coast. But here's the problem though that I think could come up with this is your body gets older, your health concerns if you're not taking good care of your health right now. Let's just talk about that part. And then the other part is if you're married and the other person hasn't taken good care of themselves. You remember the conversation we had last week, D? You remember the husband and wife? I forget what state they were in. They owed that $294,000 or something like that, or what have you, right? And he went to work and he ended up paying them back $5,000, but he died. She had to file for bankruptcy. She ain't worked in forever. She can't go to work. She don't have no skills. Y'all can sit up here and act like you could be semi-retired or whatever the case may be, but shit, that may not happen the way you think it's going to happen. They are conditioning people to work till they die. They are. All right, you'll find these numbers and from countless resources, the numbers that define retirement crises. All right, here we go. Retirement savings balances by age. If you're between 35 to 44, they're saying that on average is 97,000, but the median is 36,000. If you're between 45 to 54, the median is 61 and the average is 179,000. But we just saw that Gen X doesn't even have any money really saved up for retirement, right? 55 to 64, 256, and 65 plus 280 on average, right? That's what the numbers say. Depending on the method and the source, these numbers vary, but they all draw the obvious conclusions. Most Americans are not on track to retire and quit working altogether. And it's a pipe dream that of these people, a significant number will be able to play catch up to the level required to get there. The That's the objective to retirement crisis. Not only that, the article came out about Social Security, right? They're predicting it to be dried up in 2034, which means my money I done put into it. D, your money, you Queen Lee, Adrian, Dunn, the money you done put into it, where my money at? Where my money at? You mean tell me I done put all this money in? You gonna tell me I ain't got nothing? Well, let's talk about where that money goes. Part of that money goes to people coming over from war torn nations. Part of that money actually goes to people who come over here, not just seeking asylum, but immigrants. Right? We talked about this. We talked about them getting $891 a month for 7 years plus benefits. We talked about that, right? So here we are. We are here, you know, shackling and driving. Got to get to work. Got to get my skills up. Somebody else come over here and be like, nah, I ain't doing that. Yeah, it's for 7 years, Evelyn. 7 years. I talked about it on the show. You can go look it up. You can go look it up. However, it quickly stops being a crisis and morphs into a mix of delusion and entitlement when we hold on to the notion that the goal should not only be to for traditional retirement 1 million plus in the bank, but the added pressure and the expense of a 30-year mortgage. Now that 30-year mortgage doesn't have to be 30 years. You can pay it off before that. Yep. Why that woman takes that takes baths in the graveyard. Correct. Yep. And to add to that woman taking baths in the graveyard, did she contribute to society? Because you're a stay-at-home mom, did you contribute to the to Social Security? Did you contribute at some point? Right? At some point. Oh, my tablet about to run out. Let me get me some power. Let me get me some power. Ugh. Mm-mm-mm. Get you charged up here. We don't want to have the struggle stream. There we go. We don't want the fallout in the back. You don't want all the fallout. Graveyard bath. What is that? Oh, so the graveyard bath, Adrian, was this the lady taking the shower, taking the wash up in the graveyard. Um, let me see. 72 retired graveyard. Let me see. Bath. Let me see if I can find her. I know she in one of my on one of my word documents, but let me see if I can find her. Um, she was a older lady. Her husband had passed away. She didn't have any money, and she was from Maine. No, Maine. She was from Maine. She was taking wash ups in the graveyard. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. If not, I'll post it in the thing. I may not can find it this way. I may have to go back and look another way. But yeah, she was driving around. She would go to Starbucks and get her coffee, and then after she would leave Starbucks, she had a unit, like a storage unit, like a trailer or something like that, where her stuff was at, and she would get her stuff out there, And then she said, yeah, and sometimes I go over to the graveyard and I just take wash ups in the graveyard. I'm like, why is she taking wash ups? Why she can't take wash ups at the gym? What is going on? Right? Just telling you, letting you know what's out here, what people are doing. All right, let me get back to it. All right, so the numbers, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. I don't want to continue to read this one about him and his in the thing retired. Hold on, let me see. He got some stuff in here. Um, let me keep scrolling. All right, so let me go back up. Let's see where we want to start at right here. Right here. Most Americans are not on track to retire and quit work altogether, and the pipe dreamed out. Of these, a significant number will be able to catch up to the level required to get there. That's the objective retirement crisis. However, it quickly stops being a crisis and morphs into a mixed delusion, right? Despite the numbers, right. All right, when you think about it, it really is insane to continue to promote something that so many people, for a whole host of reasons, just cannot accomplish. And it creates a living hell for those still striving or actually juggling those two lofty personal financial tasks simultaneously. As is often the case in our society, this takes what is clearly a collective problem and makes it an individual problem. But here's another thing to think about this too, right? It not only does it make it an issue of when we're looking at this just for you and your significant other, but it's also a burden on the family as well too, right? Because sometimes family has to step in and help out with this and so forth, right? And so when we start getting into the family having to help out, you know how that goes. Your family could start resenting you. Of course, they're gonna start the chatter and the whole nine, right? All right. So it says we're not all a bunch of fools unable to become homeowners because of a personal deficiency. And if we do own a home, we're not all idiots who can't effectively use the time that spans 30-year mortgages to also save seven figures so we can quit work, retire, and bask in the glow of all the home equity we created throughout the midlife. I'm sorry if millions upon millions of individuals, largely independent of one another, end up in the same or similar boat. There's something wrong with the systems in place and things we're being asked to do. After several years of resisting this reality, because accepting it made me feel like a failure, I decided to embrace the reality that I never retire and start organizing my life differently with less emphasis on time spent working and more emphasis on living evenly in every way across my lifespan. No more packing too much stuff too hard, too fast into a midlife. So I be sapped of energy and inclination to do anything with my life come relative to old age and beyond. For the first link in the paragraph, I started questioning how much I was working and whether the time and the effort I was putting into it was worth it. So I'm gonna ask you all the hard question. Um, do you want to retire? And if you want to retire, what does retirement look like? Is that, are you married? Are you single? Do you have, are you living in a commune, like you got, it's five girlfriends or it's five spouses? What we doing? What does retirement look like? What does retirement look like? And do you even care about retirement? How many people put in the chat what age you're gonna stop working? Let me say that. What age are you gonna stop working? What age are you gonna stop working? What age do you want to stop working? Let's say that. Is it 65? 45? Granville, how long you gonna drive trucks? Cheryl, how long y'all gonna drive trucks? How long? Cigars with Matt, 65 to 70. Why 65 to 70? Is that when you think you're gonna have a maximum amount of money, or is that just when you think you're just gonna be aged out? Adrian, you say you would not stop working. D, you ain't gonna work tomorrow. D, technically you're not working right now. Technically. Technically. Done, you don't know. Mm. Hmm. I think we need to have a retirement party. I think we need to have a retirement conversation. And then we need to have like a in person meeting, or maybe even a virtual meeting for retirement. I think we need to have that. What does that look like? What does that look like? All right. Was I sacrificing my mental and physical health? Was I wasting years that could be used for do fun things? Was I driving myself into the ground? I settled for the following answers: no, yes, yes, yes. Call it the law of diminishing returns. In the work I do, there comes a point where additional time and effort starts to produce gains that are simply not worth the additional time and effort. While it took me a while to determine the sweet spot, I feel like anything more than 4 or 5 hours in a day or 20 to 25 hours in a week doesn't produce enough income to justify the additional time spent. Now, when I hear this stuff, right, I have to ask questions. How much money are you making and what are you doing? I be having to ask questions. So, for example, the reason why I ask questions, let's say in a week you're making $7,000 in a week. Let's just say you're making $7,000 in a week. Are you okay with making $7,000 in a week? Or do you feel like that's too much time? I could have been doing something else. I just have questions. Not necessarily the value of the money, but it's just what your skill set is not producing enough money where you can see the happiness of in the results of that. And when I say that, I mean like, hey, I made $7,000 this week. I could take off for another week and I can go on a trip and be okay. Right? I have questions about, again, what that looks like, what that balance looks like, right? All right, so I'm over him. I'm not a fan. You all may be a fan. I ain't a fan. I'm not a fan with living like the minimum and then just chilling. I'm not a fan. All right. I sent D the article and you all can finish reading it. I think I have to take off my headset in order to get to this other article. So hold on. Let me There's one, but let me pull this one up. This was on Bigger Pockets and I want to review it. This is My Foolish Finance Friday. This is for my Gen Xers. This is for my ones that are out here trying to make it. 11 days ago, was it alive? Where's my video? Mm, I know where it's at. Oh, hold on. Calm down. Where are we at? Where's my Okay, here we go. All right, let's I know where my video is at. I posted it in Creating Wealth. If you're not part of our Slack group, you gotta be a part of our Slack group. Right here. All right, so let's get into this one. I'm going to remove my headset, and I'm going to turn up the volume. I may have to turn some stuff off, because I think the background noise is just going to be too much. Um, Let me do that really quickly. Let me do that. Let me turn up my sound here. Let me. We back. All right. Let me know if this sound is good. Hold on. Make sure I'm in the right joint too. Because for whatever reason, my Safari. I have to be in Safari. This is in Chrome. Put it up in Safari here. All right. Here we go.
Longer.
Let's go back. All right, here we go.
Welcome to the Bigger Pockets Money Podcast, where we interview Becky and Bill from the Catching Up to FI podcast and talk about getting to FIRE as a late starter. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Mindy Jensen, and with me as always is my mainland co-host, Scott Trench.
And with me as always is my Wahoo co-host, Mindy Jensen. Are you on a Wahoo?
I'm actually on the Big Island right now, but I am flying tomorrow to Kauai.
All right.
Oh, Wahoo. I get that joke now. There's also a fish here called Wahoo. I don't know what kind it is, though. It's delicious.
Well, I also hope that everyone else is ready to tune in to a great podcast today with Bill and Becky.
Did you just say tuna in?
Y'all got to go watch Mindy.
And that's the end of all the puns. Scott and I are here to make financial independence less scary, less just for somebody else, to introduce you to every money story and no puns, because we truly believe financial freedom is attainable for everyone, no matter what time.
Yeah. Let's get
Becky
to the
and her
intro.
husband
There we
found
go.
themselves at age 50 with a net worth of $0 and no financial literacy. They made some big changes
No financial literacy, age 50, no net worth. All right.
and retired 13 years later. Bill and his wife woke up at age 50, financially illiterate after a paycheck to paycheck inflated lifestyle, and are about mid-journey on their way to financial independence. Becky and Bill, welcome to the Bigger Pockets Money Podcast. I am so excited to talk to you guys today.
We are too, and thank you for having us today. This is an important topic, we think.
Yes, thanks for having us.
You are right, Bill. This is an important topic. Becky, let's start with you. Can you give us a little bit of background about you and your money story?
Well, I grew up probably like most people with no money education. And, you know, we learn from modeling, whether it's good or bad.
And y'all can hear this, right? You should be able to hear this. Right? So, 50s, got kids, no money, saved up, house poor as well, and looking to retire. This could be you. This literally could be you. So I'm gonna let this play out a little bit. I'm not gonna do the whole show because it's 58 minutes long, but I want you to get their story and get the understanding how you could change your life around at 45, 50. How you could change your life around and not be at the graveyard, not be at the not be sitting on the sideline while everybody else is making money and you don't have anything for retirement. So let's go.
But I still didn't really see how my parents handled money. They were children of the Depression, so that kind of puts a different spin on things. My mom was the main breadwinner and decision maker. And my dad just sort of ran on emotion. So not a great modeling. Went to college, got out. I met Stephen, my husband, while we were in college, and we got married as soon as he graduated. And we literally, our first days on our new job, we were making more than our parents were making. So we had grown up with all of our needs met, but not a lot of extras. So we took these paychecks, which, let me just give you a little perspective. This was 1979. My paycheck was $17,000 a year.
Ooh.
My husband's was $13,000 a year.
Oh,
So
Becky's
let's talk
making
about
more.
In 1979, it was making $17,000 and $13,000 a year. $17,000 and $13,000 a year. That's $30,000 combined. In 1979, we still arguing about 45K, but I'm gonna stop. I ain't gonna do it.
And that was in the oil and gas industry, and I was in IT. So it was, a pretty decent salary for a college grad.
Smart Money Chick, you said you don't have any sound. Everybody else said they got sound. You may be behind on the show.
In 1979. Anyway, so we have a little bit of money, as is everybody is told, you should buy a house. That's the first thing you need to do. So we bought a house. That was stupid. And because of the market at that time. But anyway, we just started accumulating things, new cars, a house, some hobbies, some expensive hobbies. And we just kept kicking the can down the road of our future. We never stopped to think about, what are we going to do 10 years from now, 20 years from now? What are we going to do when our kids get to college? We didn't save anything. That was our biggest mistake, was we had no savings. We had no emergency fund. We didn't have a safety net for when life throws you a curveball. And there was a point.
And let's talk about that. How many of you can afford a $2,000 emergency bill right now? How many of you can afford an emergency of $500? How many can afford an emergency, something you need to happen, something happened, somebody passes away in the family, and the family need to raise money for the burial, and they need excuse me, $1,000 from you. Do you have it? Can you spare it? Can you do something for me? Right? Can you do something for me? Right? Do you know how that Jay-Z meme when he be up there like this? Can you do that? That Jay-Z meme? Can you do that? Can you do something for me? Like, can you do that? Do you have an emergency fund? Can you handle something, an emergency? Can you handle something catastrophic right now? And if you can't, why? If you can't, why? Why can't you handle something catastrophic? What's going on? All right, let's get back to it.
And sort of mid-career for Stephen, where life threw us a really big curveball and we just fell off the cliff. And it was extremely painful because we had no savings. And we had 3 kids that were within a few years of that point going to go to college. We hadn't saved anything for that. So, and the crazy thing is, we knew all along he was not in an industry that would have any kind of pension, that our retirement was all on us, but we still didn't do anything about it. And we were just, floating along, letting the tide take us wherever it did instead of being proactive about any.
So I'm going to stop it right there. I'm going to come back to it, but I'm going to stop it right there. Because again, this is Foolish Finance Fridays, right? And as I promised you before, we were going to talk about Rashid and Simone. She's a good segue to that. I didn't finish this, but let me pull him up.
In education.
Let's go back.
Jump on here. And
They broke up. And he goes into his story about how throughout his life, he pretended, he felt inadequate. He even in this video, he talking about this ain't even real diamonds, this fake. This Rolex I got on, it ain't even real. My house ain't even in my name, it's in my mama's name. Right? And I'm just trying to show you these people here, married, 3 kids, can't even take an emergency, never thought about saving up anything, this, that, and other. He introduces himself to this woman. He tells this woman that, yeah, I ain't gonna never lie to you. I'm gonna be the man you want me to be, the man of your dreams. Right? But I'm gonna play a little bit of his story. Because I don't want you to take my word for it. I'm going to let you be your own judge. And then we're going to flip back to this couple here because he got time. He's 45. But he's got to get financial conditioning for himself. There's nothing nobody else can do for him but him. He's got to go get help for himself. He's got to go understand what a budget is. And he's trying to be an entrepreneur. Hey, look, let me tell y'all something. Listen. Linda. Some of y'all ain't good at being entrepreneurs. Some of y'all are not good at being entrepreneurs. Some of you need this steady W-2. Come on back. Come back. We need you as an employee. Some of you are really good just going and being a W-2 millionaire. Some of you can't sell nothing. Some of you need to recognize that. And it's okay. I'm not knocking you. Listen. Why are you embarrassed that the fact that you can't be an entrepreneur? Why is that embarrassing? What is in your ego that's stopping you from being letting it go? It ain't working out for you, Sway. You ain't got all the answers, Sway. And sometimes you just need to go to work and grind it out. Put your head down, get up, drive to work, do the W-2, roll over, go into your room, go into your office, bang on the keyboard, smile, and get that check. Some of you need that. Some of you just it ain't there for you. It ain't there. But let's get into his story. Because I wanted to show a contrast in his story and their story. Right? What you mean, the Queen? You came in with me right now. What you mean? Listen, some of you can't even sell milk to a baby. You can't. This is what it is. Let's go.
Kind of put some things out in the atmosphere that is long overdue for me to do, to free myself from the traps and the shackles that I've placed on myself. And this video may come as a surprise to many, and some will be like, I knew it, right? But I feel it's at the point in my life, I'm 45 years old, that I have to get out of this place that I'm in. And this is a joyous occasion with a combined tragedy, right? How can you have both?
All right, I'm gonna scroll through because he's gonna get his life story about what happened to him in the 10th grade and his friends. But it's an important part of the story. And here's an important piece of this story that I think a lot of people fall into, and I think a lot of our young boys, young men fall into this trap as well too. You get up, you go to school every day, you get to school, you can barely read, but the teacher is tired of you, so they pass you on. You're real good at basketball, you're real good at football, and they know damn well that you ain't gonna pass this test, so they hope you get a close enough to a C, pass you on. And you get passed along and passed along and passed along, right? So when you go to sign that contract that they whip out, that's probably got like 55 pages on it, you know. You go, you get a contract. And that contract, it's got lawyer words on it. It's got lawyer words on it. And it's got words that you ain't never seen, you ain't never heard pronounced before, you don't know the definition of it, you don't know nothing. And you got this guy who's representing you, who has came into your life, this agent, and they said, yeah, this is a good deal for you. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be cool. You're gonna be cool. I'm gonna take care of you. That's the same thing that guy said to Steve Harvey. Right? I'm gonna take care of you. That's the same thing Mary J. Blige's husband said to her. I'm gonna take care of you. That's what they say. I'm gonna take care of you. I got your back. I love you. I love the work that you do. I see a future for you. Right? They're all up here with these words. You can't even pronounce them. You ain't never seen them. You don't even know how to write them out phonetically. You couldn't even look them up in the dictionary if you wanted to know the definition of them. Right? I got us. We good. We Gucci. We Gucci. Spell it. Spell it. What he look like, right? So you get these guys out here and some girls. Let's not get it twisted. They keep getting passed along, and they passed along, and then they passed along, and then they get to college and they get passed along, and they hope that they get to the whatever professional level that they need to get to. But what happens? An injury happens. You make a foolish decision. You hanging out with the wrong people, so it don't pop off for you like it should. But guess what happens also? Your ass don't know how to read. Your ass don't know how to read. You don't know how to count. You don't know how to read. You don't know how to add, divide, multiply, subtract. Now you this big 6'4" man, 300 pounds, walking into Walmart, or what you do. This is the famous one. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just pointing it out. I'm security at the club. Walked in the club. Right? You security at the club. That's your thing, right? But here's the other factor that people don't take into account is the aggressive nature of the person that comes out, because they're overshadowing the fact that they can't read, the fact that they can't write, the fact they didn't have in their corner. And then people will be like, oh, it was the parent, it was this, that, and other. At some point, it was them too. At some point, it was them too. Maybe them was younger, it was the parent. But if you 18, 21, and you can't read a full sentence or a full paragraph, no, baby boo, baby boy, baby Huey, you gonna have to go on and get you some classes. I'm sorry. This is the truth. And it's a hard truth. And you may not like me after this. Probably leave some nasty comments. That's okay. I'll delete them. But I'm simply saying he is one of those people. He got passed along. Let me tell you what happened to me. I'll give you my own personal story. I was going to the nursery, and my mom was like, yeah, you at the nursery. It was time for me to go to school. I get to school, and they said, oh, she belonged in the second grade. And I go to school, and I'm in the second grade in the classroom. And this is when the teachers used to go around the classroom, and they were like, read this paragraph. It was my turn to read the paragraph. And I was like, I don't know what that say. And everybody in the class laughed. And you know what they did with me? You know what happened to me? I got stuck in special ed. Oh, yeah. Now, when you go to special ed classes back then, you had to hold hands walking down the hallway and going into the lunchroom. And that was at my defining moment when I was a kid. I was like, fuck this. I'm not holding your hands going down the hallway and into the classroom. What I need to do to get up out of here. That was me. I'm not going. We got the special lunch and we got to sit at the special table, and people are like, y'all special ed, y'all sitting at the special table. Y'all holding hands when you go down the hallway, and you all got to hold hands and look at each other and be like, and I'm tall. I'm second grade. These kindergartners or first graders, I'm towering over everybody. Hell no. I'm like, nope. What I got to do to get up out of here? I'm doing all the homework. We ain't gonna be here. So that was his story, right? He had issues growing up that just, kept going on. So let's get back to him.
Well, the tragedy is that me and Simone just broke up and called off our wedding. Yeah, so that is the tragedy and the hurt, right? But I still hold out hope that it is not completely not possible for us to reconvene and some.
So I'm gonna give you this one because he gonna take 12. $250,000 in debt. He was supposed to come up with his $10,000 for the wedding. He didn't. He's supposed to come up with his portion of the wedding. He didn't. They have pushed this wedding out several times. I'm gonna get to this part. I'm gonna scroll through here where he talks about his Rolex and stuff. Oh, here we go, right here. There we go, right here.
Of the stories that others have, so I don't want to imply that. But seeing these things, and I'm angry, and I could have went certain ways, and I had friends of mine who were doing certain things that I knew wasn't right. But I was raised by a strong mother. I was raised by strong grandparents and a strong father. Like I said, I don't have an awful horror story about my father. He loved me to death. I knew he loved me. I knew he would do anything for me. So with all that being said, my mother got me where I needed to be. And then I started catching up with my grade level.
So he was behind the grade level. He used to hide going in the 10th grade, going to special ed classes and stuff like that. He was much older than the kids that he graduated with. I think he was 5 years older than them from the sound like. He's like, because the kids were like on Facebook, they was like, we didn't know he was that much older than what we were. So again, it comes down to the reading comprehension, which we talk about. The 120 million people in the U.S. can't read or write. So ladies, you may be dating somebody that can't read and write. Fellas, you may be dating a woman who can't read or write. We've stated this before. This is Dee's thing. When y'all get to the restaurant, have them read the menu. Ladies, have him read the menu. Fellas, have her read the menu. In fact, read a book together. Be like, oh, let's read this book together. If she say, listen, this is a trick. If he or she says, I like Audible, be like, hell no. Hell no. Read this out loud. Read this out loud. Like, babe, come over here. Let's have a little charcuterie board. A little charcuterie board. And have some grapes, a little wine, a little something, and let's read this book, babe. Let's read this book. You and I, let's take turns reading to each other. Right? When they get to reading, because this is what's going to happen. I already know what's going to happen. Because ladies do this all the time. It's okay, baby. Let's sound this word out together. You're going to help them sound it out. I know you ladies. I already know how y'all ladies are. Y'all going to be like, Savannah, he a good man. Savannah, he a good man, Savannah. He work hard. Savannah, he is a good man. I know how you kids are. I know how y'all are. Savannah, he a good man, Savannah. Don't let the fact that he can't read, write, or do math stop y'all love. I know how you women are. And fellas, I know how you are. Y'all be like, she don't need to know how to read. I could teach her that later, long as she know how to cook. And then it's come time for her to raise your children. Because you want to be a stay-at-home family. You want her to be at home with your children, raising and teaching them how to read, and she can't read past the 2nd grade. And then you want to wonder why. He's a good man, Savannah. He's a good man. He's a good plumber. He's a good plumber. He do what it takes, Savannah. Baby, come over here and read this from Credit Karma. When the last time you got your FICO score? I'm just telling you all. I'm just saying out loud. Stop making excuses for, as Dee says, bad behavior. They have been allowed to keep going and going and going and going, and you just keep on like, it's okay, baby. It's all right. He get a loan. He don't know that the APR. He talking about, they said something about this APR, but I got approved for this loan. But this APR is 30%. I don't know what it means though. He don't know what APR is. He's like, is APR, is that short for April? Is that short for April? See, I know how some of you ladies work. You be like, he get up, he's a hard worker, he bring his check to me, he don't know his check short. You be like, babe, last week you brought home 800, this week you brought home 600. What happened? I don't know. Let me ask him. What you mean let me ask him? You don't know? I don't know. They said something about something, they was doing something at work. Let me find out. You don't know. I'm just trying to tell you. Let's get back to it. Y'all better tell them, they better read.
But now I'm in high school, right? I'm in 9th grade. So now they separate the kids, right? They separate the kids.
In 9th grade.
I'm in a whole nother building, or no, wing of the building, special education wing, over by the gym and the theater, Klein Forest High School, right? Now I'm a year behind, so I'm embarrassed. Because why am I older than everybody in my grade level? So I already felt all that stuff, that pain. So the chip comes trying to prove people wrong. And in my family, I was put on this pedestal. I was put on, this is the one. I was put on this pedestal by my grandparents, my mother, my father. Like I'm just gonna be this golden child. And I knew the struggles that I had. I was like, that's cool, but I started falling into that. So you get, I'm dodging in the cloud, I'm trying to, get out there before the bell for everybody else, see me walking down the special ed wing. Let me get back with everybody else to my regular classes. So I got in a lot of trouble in 9th grade. I was in school suspension, but I had basketball, I had sports and athletics, right? And by the way, this shit, all this is cap. Hold on, this is cap. This is all cap. This is a fake Rolex. Yeah, it's a fake Rolex. And these are fake diamonds. I'm releasing myself of all this cap. This is fake. This Rolex is fake. Thank you.
Listen, I don't make this shit up. Right? So, throughout your life, you've been put on a pedestal. People like, you gonna save this, that, and other. You gotta remember too, certain people come from the genre where they didn't finish high school, so the fact that you finished high school was good, or you finished college, that's a good thing. Some people that that person who they feel like made it, right? So the other part of this too, that we also have to like hold ourselves accountable for, especially when we're talking about out here dating as well too, is you all have to hold yourselves accountable when you see these things. You have to say, okay, what am I gonna do? And I get it. I get it. I'm gonna tell you what ends up happening. You were like, no, I ain't gonna leave you out here like that, and y'all stay. Ladies, y'all stay. You know why y'all stay? Y'all, you know what? Let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you what you say. He just needs somebody to love him. He just needs somebody to love on him. He just need a chance. That's what y'all say. And then you also say, it's gonna be me. I'm gonna be the one. I'm gonna save him. Don't save him. He don't wanna be saved. Don't save him. He don't wanna be saved. I wanna be saved. Right? And ladies, y'all flying into it. I see it. Y'all, this is ladies, this how y'all be out there. Y'all be like, is it him? Is that him? Is it him? It's him over there. I'm going in. Y'all be up there looking like Lil' Kim. And y'all go flying in and you go save him, and then you get disappointed because the results are this. And this is something that you go end up learning. You go in to save him, and you thinking you saving him as his woman, but he's looking at you as his mother. So you build him up. And what he do? Kick you to the curb and say, thanks, boo. He do the Heisman on you. He be like, ah. He do the Heisman on you. And you be sitting up there, you like, this is literally what you say. Negro, when I met you, you couldn't read. You didn't even know what APR was. You ain't even from Acorn. You ain't even from Acorn. And you try to save him. I get it. Trust me. Been there, done that. I got it. You be like, oh, I'm gonna do. Once I get him to here, he gonna be all right. And then he looking at you. He was like, I wouldn't have did that shit for you. He's like, now I got me a new boo. She doing her thing. She's successful. She probably making more money than you. She probably doing whatever else better than you that he needs for him. And then he over there looking at you like, I should have stayed with you, but you were like expired milk to me, and it was all good. You was expired. You was expired whole milk. He said, I wanted almonds. I wanted that almond milk. You expired milk. You old clumped up milk in the refrigerator where you take it out and shake it up and it just be solid. He's like, I wanted that almond milk that lasts a long time. Because you know why? Because you was his mama. You was his mama. He saw you as his mama. Old buttermilk. That's right. The old buttermilk. You came in as his girlfriend, as his wife to be, and you left as his mama. Yeah. With the Heisman. With a handprint on your face. And you're not, and now you over there, you licking your wounds. I'm just telling you what happens. Seen it all too many times. I've seen it play out all too many times. You out here running, you out here, he out here fumbling the ball, you running behind him, picking it up and running it into the end zone when it should have been him running into the end zone. And you like, baby, come celebrate with me because I got us, I got your back. And he was like, every time you do it, he be like, what? Why she keep saving me? Because he don't have no value in himself. And you got more value and see more value in him than you see in than what he see in himself. And you keep running in your head, you keep looking at Tyler Perry movies, and you keep looking at all the movies, and you were like, he a good man, Savannah, don't do it. Well, you should just let it go. And it's real. Right? This is real. If you go and look up, and we could talk about this afterwards, because I may do a little show afterwards, right? If you go look up Simone, and you go look at her video right here, she talks about
he's a good partner, he's a great dad, he's a great provider. He would get upset with me. He would call my mom or my sister and say, how can I better love her? How can I get through to her in a way?
You heard it. We've heard where it picked up. He's a good man, Savannah. That's the thing, right?
Dim her light, because I already got the issue of I have a big person.
Let's get her perspective, right? Because really, he was in debt. She knew that he didn't have no money, but she was like, "Nah, he treat me good. I love him. We're gonna get through it." And this is a theme that I think most women do, but in particular black women. So let's hear her side. Let me see if I can get to her.
All right, I want to put this one. I'm trying to see this one.
Hold on. Okay. Who should be good now? Talk.
How she did background checks. How she didn't know. And by how she didn't know, for those of you, because I'm simultaneously streaming at this also on my channel, which is Girl, Is That Legal? What we're talking about is the fact that I've been engaged for almost a year. It was about 70 days from my wedding. And we both agreed to just call it off recently. So that has been a lot. If you know me, you know where she is my fiance. As you see, I have the ring on. It's not on my ring finger because I am terrified of losing this thing. I've got it insured, but I am terrified of losing it. So, that's a separate part. I'm not ready to deal with all that stuff yet because it's happened pretty recently. But
Nadine, you said at the end of this she was crying and so forth. I didn't finish it, but that's what Dee said.
I want to speak on the background check part, which is this. I actually feel like my situation is an example of what happens when background checks really do work. A year ago, he and I did one together. And hold on, I'm going to adjust this so I can see some of the comments. Okay. So a year ago, he and I chose to exchange background checks on our joint channel, which is called Ages and Stages. And this was the first time I had ever exchanged one with.
So I'm gonna ask this question: do y'all do background checks, or do you feel like that's too offensive, or do you feel like the man or the woman will become unhinged? And this is with dating with intent, not just sleeping around. This ain't your cutty buddy. I'm talking about your man, your one that you're saying like this is y'all gonna be intentional.
God, because I always do them on him. But I was just like, you know what? Let's go ahead and do these on one another, have transparency. And so we did it. And basically, I knew before we even did that what his financial challenges and struggles were. Because
I don't know why that stopped right there.
one or two really good dates, and I could tell he started to like me. And he said, you know, I just got to be honest with you. I got to tell you something. I'm not rich. And I said, I knew that. I did your PPP loan. Like, I knew you weren't rich. And I realized that he thought other people were convinced. I wasn't. I thought he was smart. I thought he was intelligent. I thought he was hardworking. Those were the qualities that mattered to me.
He's a good man, Savannah. See? Right? And it's nothing wrong with you admiring qualities of a person such as that, right? Those qualities. Here's the issue with those qualities. When the bill comes for the rent, for the mortgage, for the car note, for that trip, that PPP loan, none of that shit matters. They want their money.
But the stuff that I saw, I all thought these are all rented vehicles because I know what your business does. I know you're in exotic luxury rentals. I know these aren't cars that you own. And it's my understanding that when you have access to them and when you have them, it's because you're probably transporting them to or from customers. Like, that wasn't a thing. But most importantly, for me, what was so important with doing that background check in the beginning is I got to see everything he had going on. And he got to see the same for me. And so that enabled us to create a plan. The issue was just he diverted from the plan and didn't tell me. And then that impacted our future in ways that are going to take a long time to rebuild.
All right, so he diverted from the plan. Remember, I told you my my thought process on the plan, right? My thought process on the plan is this. I don't care what you say, what have you. When it comes down to Tom Brady or any quarterback or any football team, when the offense is on the field, they in the huddle. Everybody knows the play, right? When they break out of that huddle. And then once they break out of that huddle and they get to the line and the defense is looking like, we may not call this play, they call it an audible. Everybody still knows what they need to do. And everybody is informed of what they need to do. But when you do that and you do it in silence and don't nobody and you ain't said nothing to nobody, the play breaks down. Right? So again, they had a plan. He deviated from the plan. No matter how much of a leader you think you are, you cannot deviate from the plan and not let your supporting cast know. It don't work like that. That's how you start mistrust. That's how you start getting people looking at you sideways. This is how you end up on the special ed wing. This is how.
It ultimately led to the issue of, because of his diversion from the plan, he didn't have his share of the wedding money. He spent it. He didn't spend it on, like t-shirts or jewelry or anything. He spent it on household bills. But there were bills that would not have existed if we had stuck with the plan.
Wow. So that was the big thing, because I know everyone is like, why didn't you just stay with him? It's not all about the money. And I wanted you to talk about that because that was another theme. I know you heard that when I did my live, they kept saying, you should just love him anyway. It shouldn't be about the money.
I do. I love him very much. I love him very much. But sometimes when you love somebody, you have to remove yourself from the relationship and take it seriously.
I'm going to stop it right there. We're going to continue this another time. But I just wanted to show Foolish Finance, right? Where, again, this couple had a plan and they deviated from it. This couple had a plan and didn't deviate from it. Right? This couple started at 50 years old, and now I think they're worth about 1.3 or 1.5 million. But they stuck to the plan. Let your ego down, let your guard down, and get through whatever it is that y'all need to get through.
Thing having to do with money.
So was there a curveball, or was there an event that that kind of had you guys wake up, or was this kind of a realization that was more gradual in the making?
There was an event. There was a point where Stephen, my husband, was working for himself out of the house, and the money he was bringing in was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay, and it was really nice to have him at home. He got to go to the kids' track meets if he wanted to, or whatever. It gave him a lot of flexibility, but it wasn't a big income. And about 9 years into that, we had one year where two different clients of his, both for various reasons, decided not to pay him. And so we found ourselves with no income. We were buying groceries with credit cards. And I really didn't have any idea how we were even going to pay that off. It became really painful really quickly because I didn't see an end to it. We just kept digging a bigger hole every day. And
Now, here's the other part of this. They're already married. They were looking to get married. So to their own thing, she caught this before they got married. And didn't take on that debt, because I think he's $250,000 in debt. And also there's also he can't continue to be an entrepreneur as well, right? So some of you are gonna have to make adjustments. You're hitting 40, 45, 50. You want to be that entrepreneur forever. Your business isn't growing. I'm not telling you to abandon your entrepreneurship. I'm just telling you to add to it, right? You may need to add a W-2 to it for a while. Get you some money, build up a nest egg, get back to it. I understand it takes away from your 1099. I understand it takes away from you being in your business. I got that. But however, I don't want your business to be on the street. I don't want to see you selling water with the water boys in Atlanta. Right? I don't want to walk in to the club and you back there bartending, or you got the bottles, shaking them up in the club, and you're walking through the club and you're 40 years old and you got the bottles with the lights on it. I don't want to see that. I see better for you. I see better for you. Right? So, D, we're going to get up out of here. I could go on, but I think you all got the idea. Make sure you get these people and make sure they read in front of you. Don't let them use Audible, number one. Number two, check the finances. Check your own finances, right? Number three, in the book, right? I read out in the book. Limiting beliefs. Stop surrounding your people that have limiting beliefs. Understand how money flows and understand how money works, right? The other one that I want to add is, and this is really important, go back and look up how much money you have made and where you're going. What's your trajectory? Where are you going, right? I could have talked about Mary J. Blige, but this was better. We know what the problem with Mary J. was. No prenup. The guy had a kid. She had to pay him alimony of $30,000. He cheated on her. She was supporting his child. while they were married. And he was asking for child support for that child as well, too. He cheated on her and got with someone else. Was talking about her, saying that she didn't cook. And I think he actually said she didn't know how to read either. I think he was talking about Mary J. didn't know how to read either. Right? And she was strung out on drugs. On top of that, he was taking her money and going spending it on somebody else and buying houses and doing trips and cars and stuff. Same way with Wendy Williams. Hey, Gen X women, I got some questions for y'all. What is the definition of a good man? Fellas, what's the definition of a good woman? Because I got questions. Because I'm trying to figure out how y'all keep getting in the same thing over and over again. How y'all keep picking the same thing? What is it about you that is allowing you to pick the same? How you keep picking the man that don't know how to read or the woman that don't know how to read? How y'all do that? What they do? How you do that there? All right. I just want to know. We're going to end it on that note. Ask yourself those questions. Also, make sure you take care of yourself, take care of your health, take care of your bank account. Don't let nobody get over on you when they say, I got you, I got us. You better back up. They ain't even from Acorn. They ain't even from Acorn. All right, y'all be safe.